The Legend of Zelda is one of the most iconic and long-running franchises in gaming history, starting in the late 80s and still going strong in the present. Since the release of two of the most recent Zelda games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I've been hearing a lot of the same rhetoric out of people in regards to the design of these games. I always hear that they're more like the original Legend of Zelda that came out on home consoles all the way back in the 80s, than they are a typical modern Zelda game. And I've been sitting in my chair pondering that statement for the last 8 months. And the conclusion that I've come to is, not really. Like, sure, they're both super open world and all that, but there is a massive difference in scope and in variety in favor of the two recent games. Well, arguably in favor, I guess, depending on whatever your perspective you have is after this video. So what's the deal with the original Legend of Zelda then? Why do I feel the need to talk about a 45-year-old game that is only kind of like the new games, but older and shittier? Oh yeah, and I will be primarily talking about Legend of Zelda 1 today. What, you thought I was going to talk about the whole Zelda franchise? You see how long this video is? And you know how long that shit is? No. Today we are going back to basics and starting with the one that started it all. Now, to start, The Legend of Zelda is old, and that first fact probably, unfortunately, scares off a lot of people. Old games tend to 1. Be generally less accessible to acquire, and 2. Less accessible to really get into. What I mean by that is older games, especially those of the NES era, tend to be pretty cryptic. And finding the right way forward can be pretty tough if you're going in raw, no guide. Now, problem 1 is easily solved, as Nintendo has done a pretty good job of keeping their old classics up to date through the virtual console system they've been implementing since the Wii days. And I mean, if you don't want to deal with that, I suppose there are also cheaper ways to play these games, but I can't really get into that here. Problem 2 is a bit more complicated. Legend of Zelda is very cryptic, unapologetically so. However, while that would be a point of frustration for many games in its era, including the one that would come after it, I think it works more in its favor in this specific game. This is a world that drops you in with literally zero direction. No dialogue pushing you forward, no call to action about why you're here, just pick up the sword and go. And personally, I just think there is something so freeing about that. I will complain about it in a game like Zelda 2, because that game is hard, and the checkpoints you get for your progress are few and far between, but in my opinion, Zelda 1 is kinda easy. Not completely, like you will still get hit a lot, and the game can be pretty unapologetic about killing you in dungeons and not giving you full health and all that. But generally, especially in the overworld, it's actually kind of fun and engaging to run around exploring the whole map, because the game maintains a great balance between having fun combat encounters and having said encounters not totally decimate you, so you can always just keep going. You're typically not going to get stuck on a boss for 3 hours. The game wants you to go, go, go. You can walk across every screen the overworld has to offer in a pretty short amount of time, but of course the trick to truly enjoying this game is by finding the secrets that lie within every screen. And obviously you can't really do that if the game is trying to kill you with every encounter. Now, like I said earlier, the game draws a lot of comparisons to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, even the game's own directors drew those same parallels as well. And while I agree generally, again, there is a massive difference when it comes to scope. Legend of Zelda doesn't have these massive sub-areas or towns to interact in, or these long-spanning, all-encompassing side quests. I mean, the only side quest I can really think of is when you deliver something to an old lady and you get to buy medicine or something, and even that, like everything else in this game, is completely optional. So now you might be wondering, hey North, why would you want me to play this game when it seems to just have less than the game that is already more recent and more readily available? And I hear you, and I just want to say that going back and replaying Legend of Zelda was just so damn refreshing. With every new game release being massive with a million things to do, to see, and to interact with, games that take 100 hours just to get to the good part, it's kinda nice to just pop in an old classic and play through for like a couple hours and getting to experience at least most of what the game has to offer in that time. I don't need to worry if I'm making the right decisions on some long side quest with multiple branches. I don't need to worry what I should be dumping my skill points into or what build my character should be. I don't need to worry about wasting my entire life on one game. It's just me with my sword and my bombs and my candle, killing things, blowing things up, and burning stuff down. You know, because that's how you explore and find all the secret stuff in this game. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this game is so simple that you can just be done with it after an hour. It still takes quite a bit of effort and dedication to really find and experience everything this game has. So why should you play this game? Well, in this era of new fantastical gaming experience, I find it relaxing to go back to something that on the surface is simple and easy, while also hiding a lot of depth under the covers. And I'm trying my best not to talk about a lot of that depth and secrets, because I want people to actually play and experience everything for themselves. And if you can get past that classic cryptic game design from old Nintendo games, there is a fun open world game waiting for you. The combat is simple yet engaging. The soundtrack has like 2 songs, but they're pretty good, so they don't really get on your nerves. And the dungeons, while unforgiving at times, can feel quite rewarding to complete. And finally, this game is the introduction to what is, in my opinion, the greatest franchise of games to exist. It's not a tone setter like A Link to the Past. It's not an innovator like Ocarina of Time. It's not literally the best game ever like Twilight Princess, but it deserves its flowers for what it did and for what it is. If you are a Zelda fan, then you are making a big mistake by not trying this game. And even if you aren't a Zelda fan, well, what better place to start than from the beginning? Sure, it's not the best representative of what Zelda games would look like going forward, but I think Nintendo made something pretty clear with the release of Breath of the Wild. That the style of this game was always what Zelda was meant to be, this simple yet fun little open world adventure. It took them years for technology and resources to finally catch up so they could see their original vision truly fulfilled with the release of the recent big open world Zelda games. But I don't think that should devalue their original attempt in any way. So if you have the means, I think you should give this game a crack. It has aged phenomenally well, and I will always die on that hill. And while you're at it, a like and subscription to my channel would make me feel all warm inside, so I would appreciate that as well. Thank you for watching. So, I haven't touched this channel in a while, obviously. This was always meant to be a hobby to fill free time and give me a platform to talk about things that I like. And it will continue to be just that. But with a lot of changes in my life recently and a general lack of creative inspiration, I have unfortunately neglected this channel. I'm not going to promise myself that that will change because I don't want to disappoint myself, but I do plan on getting back into the swing of things with winter coming up. I do plan to keep talking about my usual favorites like Game of Thrones and the accompanying books, as well as some of my favorite games, not just like Zelda, but maybe other games that I've enjoyed in the past, like Mario or Terraria or something, I don't know. The point is, I've been feeling a wave of that inspiration that I've been looking for lately, and I want to try to keep my momentum going. At least try my best. Anyways, this whole last message was more to myself than anyone else, I suppose, but if you're still listening, then thank you again. Now, I'm gonna go find something else cool to talk about.